as I promised, this is the application that I showed in the last classes. Application we are using routes, and also we are using services, and I'm making the communication between the components using services, as I said to you. Okay, so as you can see in the, we have now login path. If I try to access the application without logging in, redirected to the login page, because now in order to access the application you need to be logged. Okay, name here, and then access the application. So the same layout as before. All right, user list. So create a user here, to create a user, and also I can create a user clicking the link here. Okay, as you can see now in the top, the URL changes as well. Okay, so let's create a user. Humberto, and the age is 25. Create a new user. Delete it, I can. Okay, and also if I want to edit it, I can. And also you can see on the top here, I have the user. Is the ID of the user that I just created. Okay, as to create all of this now. Okay, just in a few seconds. Idea of the application. All right, so how I managed to create all of that, I will show now. The first thing I need to show you module. Okay, now we have, so app routes is a array of, is a route object. Okay, I need to import that from Angular routes at Angular route. Okay, and also route module because I use it here. Okay, if there is no is just the normal one that we have in the application, don't type anything, we are redirected to the user list component. Okay, slash user list, the user list component is rendered. And also if the user types slash user, we render the use form component, slash user slash an ID, we are redirect the user form as well. And we have the login, and also this guy here. If we type anything here, we are redirected to this guy here. Okay, page not found. And always this guy needs to be the last route that we put in our routes configuration. Okay, we'll try to find this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Other, if you don't find anything, it goes to this guy. Okay, because if we type here this guy in the top and we save, we are always going to have this page not found, because this guy matches. Okay, Angular will try to find the first match that we have in the path and then render the component. So as this guy is everything, we need to put that item. Okay, let's position. What we say, this is the path to activate the component, and this guy is the can activate. This guy will check, based on that condition, it will activate this route. All right, if not, you can redirect the user for a login page or something. That is what happened here. So I'll go to the out guard that I created. Okay, this is an out guard that implements can activate. This can activate is an interface that force you to have thought called can activate, that Angular triggers behind the scenes to check if you really have the access to go to a page or not, based in the condition that you created. Okay, so this guy will, the out service, a service that I created as well. If the user is logged in, we return true. If the user is not, we redirect the user to the login. We use the router here. So this dot route dot navigate slash login. We are redirecting the user to the login page. Redirect is false, so they can activate. Check if the user check the condition and the condition is false, so we don't render the component. But this is something that I will show later. All right. So how do we? Yes, the user was logged in. User is logged in. How do we render that inside the application? So here's the same thing as before. Okay. But now we have here this route outlet. What is this route outlet? So Angular will inject that you configured here inside this guy here, inside this tag. So we were rendering user list component in the component. We configure that in the route. Okay, so if the user don't type anything, we are going to render user list component, and this user list component will be injected this route outlet. So as I said that, so now we understand. Now we configure the routes. I will show you the out service that I created. So the out guard has the inject this guy here out service. This function here is logged. If the user is logged, what does it mean? If the user is really signed in inside the application. So how do I manage to say that if the user is logged in or not, and how do I store that in the application? I'm using local storage. That if you know that, but it's like a from your application. So here in the browser, okay. So this local storage, I'm just storing the key user and the value Humberto. So I can. This is how I managed to do that. But in a real world application, we would have a endpoint to log in our user, and then we have a token, and we store this token here. Okay. Purpose for testing and show you that I'm just storing this information here. So here we have the login where I pass the username, set the value from the local storage and the key user as username, and then I redirect the user to the of the application. We have the logout. I remove the item from the local storage, and also I redirect the user for the login page. A common behavior of any application. Okay, when you log out, you go to the login page. Basically that. I have other method here. Logged is just check if we have a key in our local storage, call it user. If yes, true, otherwise not. Function here to get the username. Just to show on the top here. So, and also I create some comments here. If you want to, is a good practice. You do that, and then you put the description below. And also to navigate from inside the application, we need to inject something in our construction, and that is a router. Okay, so the router, with the router we can navigate in the behind the scenes in the application, and using HTML we can navigate in the programmatically. So we just need to type route, right? The route.navigate, and then go into the root application. If I want to pass some parameters, so slash user slash then one. How would be something like this? Okay, to do that. But in this case, we just use slash. because I want to go to the root application, root path of the application. Okay. Now we are here in the app component, and of setting a variable for a string to set with which page we are. Now we have this guy here. Is the same thing as okay. So navigate. Slash. Don't forget to put this guy here. Okay. Slash user list, and other one is slash user. And to set the as activate route, okay, plus a guy link active. Check is a directive, okay. It will check that we have in this component, and if the URL match that with the URL that you put here, we are going to add a class active in this element. So active, because here is user and user all here. So basically they are the same. So we said we add this class to this and also here I'm here. I'm accessing the out service, the logged user that I have here. Wrong element. Get logged user is the function that we have inside our service, okay, that goes to our local storage and get an item called user. So here we're just showing the user Humberto. That's the in our local storage. Okay. Now let's show you the user service. User service is advanced, but let's see if you can understand a little bit of that. So here we have just some functions. You return all the users that we have in our user list. Okay. We have the add function. User. We will add a new user. Here I'm just getting the users and getting the last ID that we have inside our list, and plus one to decide which ID we need to assign to the user. Okay. We have here that's an event emitter, where we emit when a user is removed or a user is deleted. Okay, I'm just emitting that, and then in the component I need to subscribe. Okay, we managed to communicate components without the output properties that I show you in the last class. User list. Okay, this is the user list. Now is much more clean. Okay, we don't have inputs and output and subscribers and input and output, and then we need to subscribe, create a function to retrieve the information from the other component that this event was emitted. Okay, so much more clean. Just need to service here, and then we subscribe to the event. Property from the user service, access from outside. I subscribe to all emitters that this event has. I will when I event emit is this function here is triggered. Where inside the application, if somebody calls the function, this guy subscribed to that will be triggered. Okay. I receive this will pass the user list here. okay, when I am meeting that. And here in the user list component, I'm receiving that list and I'm assigned to the list. Okay? And also don't forget to do something. Okay, remember that I said in the last classes, we have some of the component in Angular. We have also the ng on destroy. So subscribe to something, unsubscribe to that, okay? Leaking and the application might get some performance issues. Always when you destroy a component, describe all the subscriptions that you created inside this component, okay? So let's go to our event user form, okay? Is where we create the user. Also have we always now we have a much more clean component as well, because before we need to put in this guy here information to component, and then this component we update our user list. But in this case, we don't do that anymore. We just need to inject our service, user service, and then we created a user. We just need to call a function and then redirect to the user list. Because the user list component to all changes that we have, because when we call edit or when we call add, we are emitting the user list. User list is subscribed to that user form. Here we have some tricky things I want to show you. As we configure our module, can be for create a user or for edit a user. The component is the same. So how we manage that? Kind of simple. We need to inject the activated route in the constructor. Okay. As the parameter have, let's create a user here. Edit. To access this ID here, I need to do this. This dot activated route dot first child. If this guy is filled, means that we are editing. So I will subscribe to that. To subscribe to the params, okay? Because change that programmatically. So let's create a user here, Roberto. Have two users here. Edit. Sure that we are getting always the same, always the last value of the ID here. Subscribe to that. It's the same of the emitter. We need to subscribe because the value changes. If the value change programmatically using Angular, so that because the value change and a function is triggered. Okay, so params.subscribe, we are subscribing to that. Parameters is just all the parameters that we have here. And I'll go to the user service, get user, to get the user by the ID inside the array, and then I get the user by the ID. By ID, I find the index, and then I return the index of the array by the index inside this array. Okay. All right. So I get the user here. If the user exists, I set the user property that we have inside this component. Otherwise, I show you an alert and then I redirect the user to the user list. Why that? Because maybe the user can come here and put 15, and 15 doesn't exist in our inside our user list. Okay, found, and then I go back to the user list. All the user list because I refresh the application and I'm not storing this user list in. I need to create that again. Let's create the user list again, and also Rafael 23. Okay. Okay. So we have that list. I will go to create a new user. So the create user, what it does. Okay, so if the user ID doesn't exist, I will call a function inside the user service called add. You get all the user object that I have here. When I click in create, I will get the user ID plus one, or just one if I don't have any item inside the list. Push the list, push the item user, the object user inside this list. So I'm adding it, the user list, and then at the end, I emit user list for whoever is listening that. The user list is listen that. When the user list listen to that, the user list in the event. Okay, updated, and then we show all the users that we have inside the list. Basically, that the how it works behind the scenes. Okay, to well, okay, we have the same behavior calling the emit. Okay, so when I click edit and delete, I have this event here inside the user list item function here called remove user, and I pass the user here, and then I just have a confirm. I delete the user, remove the user. I do the same. I find the user by the its index. Move this guy here. Splice is a function from arrays that we have in Angular in script. The index and how many items I want to delete from that base a particular index. So in this case is I want to delete one guy based in that index. What means the same guy. Emit the user list again. So the user list is listening to that, and it will update the user list that we have here. Our user list will be updated here as well. So if I click yes, remove an user from this list. Okay, got it? If not, well, I can try to manage to help you that in the next class. Okay, so here what we learn: configure our routes. Here we are configure our routes, the application. I'm also protecting my routes. I'm using child routes, and also I taught you how to communicate uh, input and output properties. Okay, wrong, but sometimes when you need to send information from the parent of the parent of the parent, it's better to use a service for that. You can see, as I think that is much more simpler to do that. And is clean. and you don't need to write more things. So some confusion when you are creating your application. Well, guys, that's it. I hope you understood everything. If not, I'll solve all the questions that you have next Thursday. Okay, so thank you all and